What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the show. Today, joining me is the founder and CEO of Realty Partners, which is a really interesting take on how to actually build a real estate business, a totally different model, is Thomas Heimann. Thomas, how you doing?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm super excited to be on your show and chat about our crazy take on the real estate business model and how I see opportunities in a little bit outside of the box.
Well, let's get into that because, we've spoken before and you talked about how you went and kind of looked at how law firms were put together. And then you kind of got this idea on, hey, I'm going to do this differently when it came to starting a real estate business. Walk me through kind of that thought process and then, starting Realty Partners and then growing it to today.
Sure. So it really all started with the realization that, even as a super successful real estate agent in the traditional business model, you don't really have a business. You hang your license with a broker, it doesn't matter who it is. You sell, you get paid, you don't. But the ownership aspect has always been, held separately. So you have someone that owns a brokerage, maybe a group of people that own a franchise, and then you have agents that hang their license and sell. And I thought that there had to be a better way because real estate agents generally get into the business to have a business, to build a business for themselves. That's an entrepreneurial drive. And I looked at other industries. I had worked in the consulting field, so I was familiar how consulting firms are structured as quasi partnerships, and law firms and accounting firms. And I asked myself, how come there isn't something like that in the real estate industry? Why isn't there a partnership model where agents, go to work for a firm, and if they create enough value, then they're offered an opportunity to become a partner in the firm and then be co-owners and have the ability to actually create a business for themselves. And also, the most profitable aspect of the real estate industry that most people aren't aware of are the auxiliary services. So if a large brokerage owns a title company or a mortgage company, they make far more money on title and lending than they do on the real estate brokerage operations. And again, the only way to participate there is through ownership. And so I decided to, model the legal profession in essence, where you have to be an attorney to be a partner in a law firm. And so I created Realty Partners, which is set up as a partnership. It's an LLC, but it's structured as a partnership for tax purposes and otherwise. And it is owned by its agents. Our agents and associates actually own the majority of Realty Partners.
I love it. I love that take because, like you said, it's understanding that the realtor really has this entrepreneurial drive. And if you're not helping them build a business, it's limiting, right? So if you can cut through that, um, you give them an opportunity where one, they're able to make more. Two, they have a sense of ownership because they are
Yes.
owners, right?
Yes.
Everybody says they want their staff to have a sense of ownership. Well, it's like, okay, put your money where your mouth is. And I love that you have to be like, okay, there's this opportunity to do this and build this book of business.
Yeah. And you know what? It's what's interesting when you look at look at the industry from a 30,000 foot view. How are firms responding to an agent's desire to be an owner or have built something for themselves? So you have these residual income streams. Keller Williams pioneered it with their profit sharing thing, and then more recently EXP and others said, well, let's do revenue sharing instead. But those are passive income streams that really only work for very, very few, because most real estate agents aren't recruiting machines that build a big team. And likewise, traditionally, the only way for you as a real estate agent to kind of pitch your own tent is to become a broker, get your broker's license, and then start your own brokerage. But the truth is that most brokerages are very, very small brokerages where the broker owner still has to sell, or otherwise they wouldn't have any income. And if they really want to knock it out of the park and build a quote unquote business, then again, they're going to have to recruit. If you look at a typical franchised brokerage office, they have 80, 100, 200, sometimes more agents. And obviously that requires a lot of recruiting. So that's really not what most agents are cut out for. And so, I looked at it from a perspective of, okay, how can I allow you to become an owner in your firm without having to invest a lot of money, without you having to become a recruiting machine, without you having to take on all that financial risk? And again, I figured that the partnership model where, we basically reward agents that create value for the firm with an opportunity to become a partner, answers that question. So not everyone will be a partner. Just like in a law firm, you may have a law firm with 1,000 associates, and only a small number of them are partners. Or you have, DC Deloitte Consulting, or Anderson. They have tens of thousands of associates, but only a small group of partners. But if that's your desire, you have a path to partnership. And so I tried to create that in the real estate model.
I love it too because it's letting people double down like, hey, do what you're amazing at, right? Like, hey, you're an amazing agent, go build that amazing business instead of, to your point, okay, start a brokerage, figure out how to get marketing materials and signs for your agents and the recruiting wheel and what does that look like, and it's taking you away from that thing that made you great, which is helping people buy and sell houses, right?
Absolutely.
Now talk to me about where the brand sits now, the goals, and like, is the goal to just to get more agents to come in and experience and do this? Or are you kind of like, hey, we're at a healthy number and now we're just going to serve our customers? Like, where is it? Where's the brand right now?
So a couple of things, and we're looking to grow. And my goal really for Realty Partners ultimately is to become a national brand, but we really don't want to be a company with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of agents. So that's really not our goal. It's really more to run a professional partnership of successful agents. So we're really pivoting also in our service offering to really focus more on, okay, how can we empower agents to run their entire business for them so they can focus on customer acquisition and customer service, and not having to hire people to be their assistants and listing coordinators and so forth. So we're putting in place a platform that allows agents to just basically offload all of the administrative and marketing, et cetera, activities to the organization. So our focus is on more successful agents. We don't turn our back against newer, ambitious agents, but our sweet spot really is, I would say, agents doing $3 to $5 million that are looking to grow their business, or people that are starting to build a team and want to grow their team. And we're in the state of Florida right now. We're a member of, I think, about 22 associations. We wanted to expand nationally outside of Florida early last year, actually, but then COVID came, as you know, so we kind of pulled back, not knowing what would happen, and and started executing the end of last year on some of the plans that we had. So we launched a title company, Cloud Title, in December, and Cloud Title is profitable, and it is owned by our agents and associates. And we're in the process of launching a mortgage company. We're going to go live with that in Q4. And we started hiring a team of corporate recruiters to help us with the growth here in the state of Florida. We really want to become significantly larger in the state of Florida by the end of this year, and then start expanding into other states, probably starting with the southeast, so Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, that corridor, and then moving west towards Texas. But our goal really is within the next 3 to 5 years to become a national provider. Obviously, we're growing organically. We have not raised money from investors. Our business model is really not the most ideal to go to VCs because, again, 55% of our company is owned by our agents and associates. The other 45%, a huge piece of that, is owned by our employees, which are also incredibly important. So for myself, I really look at this more of a passion project. I want to see this vision come together, but we're not in a position to sell a huge chunk of the company to outside investors. So that kind of that affects our growth. We're profitable, we have money in the bank, but we have to take more of that organic path. And again, by shifting our focus more on productivity and the kind of agents that are looking to create an ownership opportunity for themselves, it's okay to not grow that fast. We don't need to have 50,000 agents 2 years from now. I'll be thrilled if we have 1,000 agents 3 or 4 years from now that are quality agents that are adding value. So
Yeah, it's that whole idea of building to last, right? and making sure that those foundational pieces, the setup is right. Because to
Yes.
your point, it's like you go take money, you sell off some of the company, but it's like, okay, then those people want an exit, and then now you got more voices in the room, and it kind of loses sight of what the intention was at first, right? But when you build
Yes.
out uh, a cool partnership model like this, now it's like, okay, we're gonna grow slowly, methodically. We have a standard level that we want to maintain. We're not just here to be, you know, this massive tomorrow. Anyone who has a real estate license can come in and start to work. We want to make sure that there's because it matters to the end customer too, right? Like, hey, that there's professional agents involved. And for listeners who don't know, like the real estate industry really does get segmented down into uh, top producers, high activity agents, and then everybody else. And everybody else is that realtor, and we probably all know a person who is like someone's aunt who sells 2 homes a year for their family, and
Hmm.
they're um, and it might be kind of like a side hustle almost for them, a part-time gig versus someone who is, to your point, that ambitious agent who's like, this is my full-time gig. I'm here to make this a career and really go to that next level. So,
Exactly.
and
I mean, it's a business. So if somebody gets into it with the view of, I want to build a business for myself, they're going to take different kind of action and they're going to make a different commitment than somebody that is, like you said, just looking at it as a side hustle or some easy money on the side. And to that end, we have a couple of different ways for agents to qualify for partnership, and one of them is their personal production. So how much business they do themselves on an annual basis. And one of the things that we're starting to do is we're looking for, we're looking to target agents or teams or small independent brokerages that fall into that category. We can say, okay, why don't you join us? And based on your productivity and based on the volume that you're generating, you could become an equity partner at this level here. We have a 2-year path to partnership, to qualify for partnership, become an equity partner, and then there's a total of 5 years to vest. So again, my personal focus is, people that are either already productive, and I build a team myself that did hundreds of transactions a year, and I know how challenging it is to scale your business. And I came, my background is as an entrepreneur, so I knew how to build a business. But for a lot of agents, they're stuck in this place where they're doing 5 million, let's say, and they want to get to 10 million or 20 million or 50 million, and it's a different path. And when you look at or listen to any of the gurus, and I went, early on and listened to Craig Proctor, it's all about building a team. The challenge, of course, with building a team is now your attention is pulled away. You got to recruit people, you got to train them, you got to manage them. And so what we try to do is really say to a productive agent, hey, let us take care of all of these things. We're going to create that leverage for you to grow your business. And not only do we help you, grow your business, become more successful as a real estate practitioner, we'll also give you an opportunity to exit, and become an equity partner. And there's only one other company that's doing something similar, but with a different focus, and that's Side Inc. They're really more focused on running your business for you and helping you build your own brand, so you have a brand that you can sell eventually. Our focus is maybe a notch down. You don't have to do $20+ million a year to work with us, but it's similar in a sense that let us run your business and help you grow your business. But our opportunities for you to become a partner in Realty Partners and become a co-owner. Now, as a co-owner, you can also profit from title and lending and other things, and create ultimately an exit strategy for yourself to be able to retire at some point, because not everyone wants to sell real estate until they're 80.
yeah,
So that's in a nutshell, I would say.
I love it, and I love this idea too that you talked about, where it's like adding in other facets of the business, title, mortgage, and what you're doing there is helping close the loop for consumers, so they don't need
Hmm.
to go
They love
because it's
it.
it's because it's so stressful. Buying and selling real estate can be stressful. So if I can just go to one place, hey, I trust Thomas, cool, and I know that it's gonna all be handled for me. and then it's going
Yeah.
to go to this company, that company. It makes things so much easier from a customer experience. I love that you guys are doing that as well.
And truth to be told, I mean, a lot of these services are looked at as a commodity, but when you have a truly integrated solution, it is so much easier for the consumer, rather than having to deal with three separate, totally, different providers that may or may not have access to information, or they're waiting on something from somebody else, that just creates additional stress. If a company can provide a truly integrated solution, then that really, I mean, consumers love it. And the challenge here again is that as a individual agent, unless you run a mega team, you really don't have the power to make that happen. I mean, if you're doing 1,000 transactions a year and you're running a mega team, then of course you can have your own mortgage company and you can have your own title company and whatever. But for the average practitioner, successful practitioner, but an agent that does maybe 20, 30 transactions, even 50 or 100, that's just not feasible to start your own mortgage company and your own title company. And again, in the traditional business model of our industry, those profit centers are completely off limits to agents. There have been attempts to create these. Now they're considered sham business arrangements, but over the years to create these arrangements where as an agent you could quote unquote make money on these sites, but they're very, very dangerous, and I would stay away from them. And CFPB really has cracked down hard on these arrangements. And so again, what we're doing is creating that opportunity for agents to actually benefit from those through ownership, without having to write a big check. And the only other company that I am aware of that offers something similar is JPA and Associates. They have a program where they have a mortgage company, and they allow successful associates, to buy into the mortgage company. And I think they have a couple of different investment levels. You can invest $5,000 or $10,000 or $25,000, and then based on that investment, you'll have a sliver of an ownership in that mortgage company, and then obviously, get a share of the profits. But that's really the only opportunity that I'm aware of for agents to even remotely be able to participate. And even in that model, the agents only own a tiny, tiny percentage of that mortgage company, as opposed to with Realty Partners, we have a holding company that is majority owned by our agents and associates. And then that holding company owns 100% of the title company. They'll own 100% of the mortgage company, insurance, and other things that will be adding to it as well.
I love it because it's one of these things, and listeners, like, if you don't like the rules of the game, go make a new game, play a new game, and that's what you've done, Thomas. Where you go in and say, "Hey, I'm gonna play the game differently. I'm gonna go build out this partnership model in real estate." So I think it's awesome and refreshing, and I think that other people can take that and just apply different thinking to their current structure. Your current structure at your company, or if you're an entrepreneur, the way you've set things up, you don't have to just follow the mold of what's always been done. You can challenge and change the way that you actually structure your business. So, uh,
Yes.
Thomas, thanks so much for coming on today. For anybody who wants to learn more about Realty Partners, where should they head?
Go to realty-partners.com. So it's realty-partners.com, or joinrealtypartners.com. Both of those URLs will take you to our website. You can also find us on Facebook and on YouTube. It's Realty Partners LLC is our username. And just engage us. We have a chat icon on our website, and you can just ask questions, and I'll be happy to chat with you. Right now, again, we're just in the state of Florida, but our goal is to expand nationally, and to some extent that will be driven by demand. So people coming to us and saying, "Hey, we would love you to come into our area." And obviously expansion as a real estate brokerage is relatively easy, to get licensed in another state. And we're a virtual company, meaning we don't have brick and mortar operations, which is great, number one, for our associates, because their profit is a little bit better than if we had to spend tons of money on brick and mortar. But it also makes it easier for us to ultimately expand when the time is right.
Right.
So thank you so much.
No, thank you for coming on. Everybody go check that out, especially if you're in Florida. Go check out Realty Partners. Thomas, thanks again. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, Jordan, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
All right, everybody. That's it for this episode. As always, I'm your host, Jordan Shelton, and I'll catch you next time.